Hello everyone, straight into it, no intros on these new videos now. We are at Daytona in a GT4 as we have qualified 4th and green flag into the first corner, taking it nice and easy, don't want any silly crashes, trying to be as safe as possible. We have picked the McLaren GT4. It seems to be, in the fixed setup around Daytona, seems to be the quickest in a straight line in testing, and that's where a lot of the overtakes are being done as I defend here into the hairpin, the horseshoe. Out in second gear, control that wheel spin, even though there's a traction control, you don't want to engage it. This car does have ABS as well. Again, you don't want to engage it, that does increase distances using the ABS. Really enjoying the combos of the GT4 fixed series, as we just try and stay with this lead pack and leave Javier behind. So that's the infield done. Now onto the outfield, where the McLaren really sets the world light, and you'll see in the relative and visibly on screen as well, even though the AMG pulls out on me on the corner here and they have the slipstream, I've already started to catch up on that vehicle. You see that number tumbling down on the bottom right hand side to John Warburton in front. Definitely quick in a straight line, but we're not going to go to overtake. It is lap 1 of a 7 lap race, about a 15-minute race, so going to come off the gas a little early, cruising as John goes a little bit wide for the first part of the bus stop. Slows me down a little but allows me to get a good run and get nice and close to get that slipstream hammock pull away from Javier behind. Trying to find the line. It is obviously quicker, slower the higher up you go that bank, so you just got to almost bump draft till you get to the straight. Someone's obviously got to slow down there at P2, which allows me to take 2 spots. Just going to make the pass, which I've managed to do, as you can see them right up close to my rear mirror at the top right there. But into P2 for me, so it's a great start from P4, P2 after 1 lap. Would like to keep it here to get some safety rating back, which I lost in another one of these races of my own accord, where I've tried to go for an overtake up to this corner here. I've had to keep the inside line, they've got the outside line, and I've spun and ended up somewhere in the distance to my right hand side now into a barrier and lost the race completely. So the quick people around here seem to be able to get around in a 153, low 153. I've been doing low 154s. So my aim for this race was just to withhold a little bit of the slipstream, get into that 153 and try and put a decent lap together all in all. My optimum's a 153, but having how to piece it together is a lot of things that go wrong with this track. It seems simple enough, but especially these long straights, you need to carry that speed to those corners and get on the power well enough so you can carry that speed all the way down this straight, because these cars aren't quick. So as soon as you lose any sort of momentum, as I understeer a little bit through the dirty air, manage to keep it on the track, don't get 1x or any slowdown, but that is probably on the limit. I'm not too worried about Lewis getting away from here. He's got no slipstream, and with the Macca's top speed, I'll get somewhere near. As you can see, it's starting to pull that gap back. There won't be an overtaking opportunity here unless Lewis makes a mistake. With John behind as well, but he's not catching at any sort of pace that worries me at all. It's out to the right hand side, the last white line here. Nice and breaking a straight line down into second. Get it turned in early. It's a pretty slow corner for me. Taking a little bit easy to try to consolidate that P2 at the moment. Not being too aggressive really on, as I get very heavy on the on the loud pedal there and get the back end out. Loses me some time to Lewis, and I have to try and make up now on the brakes and down the straights. Still within the slipstream though, still within 1 second. Again, just taking too much speed off in the early phase of the corner, and that seems to be my habit in sim racing and in real life, which is something I've just got to be a bit braver with. Allow the car to keep that speed, minimum speed through the apex. Lewis over a second now, but should catch up on his straights now with the top line speed. As Javier behind's not anywhere near. We seem to have lost John from the back somewhere, maybe a little bit wider of spin. I didn't quite see, but Javier and Leonardo are now behind, and Sergey as well. So top 5 all within a second and a half, as I've made half a second up already on one straight. Can carry a lot of speed through the bus stop as well with this car. Lewis obviously struggled with the bus stop, and as I said, if you lose any sort of momentum, does make a massive difference. But we've got almost 3 cars here. I'll try and block that middle lane from Javier behind. Don't want to give him an easy run, but I've got the outside line, which I said is a lot further. So I've now just got to hang it outside. And unfortunately, that lets Javier through. So down and losing position now back to P3. A little bit of a learning curve for me, but I'm not going to sacrifice the position or the speed, because then I might have blocked myself out with Javier on the outside, and there was no space for the overtake. And inside I could end up P3 anyway. So you got to go for these overtakes, but maybe a better position to try and get on the inside and making these overtakes, especially on the apron. You can use the apron, even though you're not supposed to. There's no 1X out there, so you might as well use it.
I'm so sorry, that's all my fault.
So they're taking a wider line for there. I'm taking a bit more of a narrow line, but I can get the power a little bit earlier than they can. So I've got slower apex speed, but I can get on the power earlier. Which with Macca's top speed, I should be able to get somewhere close to Javier now. As we brake for the bus stop at about the yellow mark on the right there, into 4th gear, carry the speed over the bumps. Don't get the power too early, and I had to get the power late there because Javier had a bit of a problem. Well, he's a lot slower through that first phase of the bus stop than I am. In P3, we've probably got 2 to 3 laps left, I'd say, as I've got Leonardo right up my chuff now, bumping me along. No X's for that, but just he's seen what happened to me probably and doesn't want to take that outside line. I'm still getting the slipstream of Javier, so see what they do here into turn 1. They're fighting, which allows me to get close, but no gap there as Javier closes the gap. No gap on the inside. BMW definitely rotates better than the McLaren by the looks of it. A lot of understeer, especially on throttle. Really approachable to drive though, this McLaren in the GT4 class. Say it's definitely a stronger car than the GT3 sister of its in another series. And the GT4 seems to do some close racing, which is always good fun. But as I said, mistakes are punished. Well, I think I'll carry on this this series for the rest of the season. Fixed every 2 hours, 15 minutes. There is an open class in the same combo the same week. That's a 30-minute race, which would probably, depending on the limit of the fuel, you might have a splash and dash. I'm not sure. I'll have to give that one a go as well if I get time. Definitely better through the bus stop. Getting the power a lot easier there. Start closing that gap. So I was looking for that gap there then. I had to come off the throttle. I thought I was going to try and hold that inside of what it did to me, but couldn't have it. So the BMW is going a lot faster than the Aston, so I'm going to try and follow them through. But I've made the same mistake as before. I haven't learned. I brake very early here, which was silly of me, and then I've left myself on the outside where I should have taken that inside line. If I braked a lot earlier, I think I could have nipped P2, but I'm trying to get my racecraft back after not racing for a couple of months while I've been away. Nice and flat through that corner, I don't even have to think about lifting. Tyres don't seem to go off in these 15 minutes either, so you can just push as hard as you like. And Leonardo Sergi, and there's John back on the relative as well, so he's managed to find his way back up towards us. As I start to close up that gap now into the bus stop. Now this is not the place really to think about an overtake unless you're alongside. So again, manage that speed through there. Get on the power nice and early so you can have a really good run. And they do carry a lot of speed, but so do the cars in front as well. They're bump drafting each other, which is giving me some more speed. Now again, I'm getting close, but there is no gap on the inside, and I still haven't learned. So I go to the outside, then the grass comes up. So they look like they might have crashed there, so I'll just be a bit wary. But again, I'm on the outside wide again. With Javier seems to be a little bit of understeer there, which has sent me out a bit wide, and I lose one space. So I got my P2 back, but then lost it again because I've had to go wide to avoid Javier. He then goes wide again, so he's just feeling the pressure now, starting to send it a little bit, or feeling the pressure and thinks he has to overperform when his actual driving's pretty good, but he's put himself into the lead. He's trying to stay there. I want that P2 back. Try and go for that P1 on the last lap somehow. So I carry a lot more speed here. They've gone up high, which then he looks like he's touched the wall there, so he might have slowed himself down significantly, allowing Lewis and I to catch up again. But I'm getting bored now. Definitely getting bored behind these cars. So I'm looking for that inside line now. And I've got the speed. I pull alongside. There's my braking marker. Happy I could brake earlier. Nice tight line. Manage the speed. Don't get the throttle too early so you understeer. And use that slipstream to follow through. And that is what you call a perfect overtake at bus stop. So this is what it looks from the outside. Wait for that brake marker to slot in between the two. Now it is very, very high risk, but again, high reward. Because what you do is you slow down that Aston behind, and then you slipstream forward as well. And with the top speed of the Mac, I knew I wasn't going to overtake him back. So really, really happy with that overtake. I just need to hold on to this P2 now. But look how much speed I've got over the BMW. I've probably given a bit of the spooks as well. He's probably seen me in his rear mirror come from nowhere. So I pull alongside, try and get this overtake done. Again, it's a little bit slower on that high line because he's travelling more distance. Braking on the outside, and I've braked way too early, and I've just left the door open. 1, 2, 3, 4 cars through. I was trying to keep my safety rating as well, so I wasn't being too aggressive, even though that bus stop move was very aggressive. But in the space of one corner, I've gone from first to fifth. So overtaking on the outside, or hanging on the outside for turn 1 at Daytona, is a no-go in the GT4s. So they're all battling now. This is last lap, I believe. So they're all battling. I'm looking for gaps. I don't want to lose any more position. So as I nearly send it to the back of Lewis there, so that's again backed me off a bit, but praying for the Macca to give me some speed. Maybe a bit of battling to allow for some sort of easy overtake, because I was deeply frustrated with just leaving the door open. Really poor racecraft for myself. I haven't learned from 4 laps to try and go around turn 1, so that's my fault. No X's for any of those moves. But I need to get a good run off this bus stop now as we go into literally the last part of this race. Don't get that power too early. Onto the power, so I've definitely got the run on the Aston. They've got slipstream as well, so I've just got to find that space now. So I've got the speed, it's whether I can make it stick. And as soon as I pull out, I'm just getting into loads of drag. Loads of battling here, as we see. And come together. Off to the wall. I'm already going to get rear-ended, so I'll move over to the left. But there it is, P3. Right in the last line, as Lewis is not happy with what just occurred there. It did look like a bit of netcode, but I still think it would have occurred anyway. But that is giving me a very, very easy P3 in the end. Could have been P2. There is a chance of P1 there, as I narrowly don't take out the McLaren. But yeah,
stupid idiot.